Peace. This is Star with the Star Blooms. Give me a second, y'all. Yeah, I'm soaking wet. Me and my baby got caught in the rain. We was trying to take us a little field trip walking so we could get grounded. Anywho, um, change of plans. And I basically was perceiving a right of I don't know why I was about to say compromise and communicate. I was going to say com, I don't know how I said it in my head just now. Um, what I'm basically sitting with is a rate of understanding expression due to truths, right? And how new perspectives show up when you allow yourself to sit at a rate of clear action, honesty, and recognizing certain rates of fate that alter fortune. I kept on hearing, what's that song? I think it's called Cycles. I was singing it, but it's like the bridge in the song. Kind of like how he's doing like the falsetto, but I kept on hearing him say cycles, cycles, cycles. And I've been sitting with recognition of awareness. Um, Anytime it gets around the moon cycles, I'm always basically privy and sensitive to like the energies just in general. And lately I've been recognizing how work is being done around the cycles to alter my stance with people. I've been perceiving, seeing their faces even in dreams. Like there's no separation from the truth at this point if you desire to allow yourself to be at a perceived rate. And because I've allowed myself to release certain rates of like anger, by just like literally directly going to the source, encouraging, like I said, healthy expressions of my emotions, and even at a rate like addressing like certain parts of anger that lead and needed me to lead to healing versus just allowing it to sit within, allowing it to be unresolved. But me being at the rate to where I'm recognizing that I'm perceiving people trying to alter my fate, due to them not wanting to sit in their karma because they aren't wanting to be in the cycles, because that's what the song says. I'm not going in cycles, I'm gonna break these cycles. A lot of times people are toxicity bound, right? They live in their patterns. They try to bind themselves to um, certain rates of energies because of their addictions and just vampiric energy, period, y'all. When you recognize that your state of currency and flow is energetic, you will sit with yourself at a different rate, and you'll start to stand firm on your values, and you'll refuse to accept manipulative threats and allow yourself to sit in certain rates of stability that come from mutual respect. But a lot of the times people want to play mind games, and they're wanting you to basically sit at a rate of engaging with the manipulative behavior instead of seeking clarity and demanding honesty and truth. One of the things that I've been able to recognize in my rate of release and purge is that the thought of feeling trapped or allowing yourself to be at rates of like overthinking, sitting in worry, or just basically playing the train tracks in the mind in general, they require a certain rate of love medicine that doesn't exist. And I recognize a lot of time the people who are going at the rate of trying to alter people's trajectory based off of how they show up for themselves, um, they want you to perceive love as weak, as something that isn't powerful enough to basically sit at a rate to go against things that this world has taught us to basically fear. Um, Being held and recognizing that you I'm trying to say it in a way to where I could basically make it more broad and not as personal, but how it's wanting to come out as personal, right? So I'll say this. There are certain rates where sometimes we get to perceive ourselves um, in insecurities. And I call these access points because I recognize the people who are wanting to change the trajectory of what it is that you're experiencing because you've pulled back your energy, because you've walked away from contracts, because you've chose yourself. Y'all, the most powerful thing is to choose yourself. And it's not a low vibrational thing. It's not a bad thing. A lot of the times when you're in like these weird connections where things aren't in alignment or aren't moving for you, a lot of the times it's because you really aren't pursuing your dreams with confidence and you allow your goals to lack I was about to say valid distribution of your energy. But that's so true because I believe that we aren't meant to be a source to anybody. You know, I believe that we're meant to receive source. 606, 608. Thank you, Spirit. I believe that we're meant to receive source. Um, and the realization in the fact that you're receiving source allows you to be able to focus instead of ignoring your dreams. Um, However, there's a lot of people who are operating and moving off of toxicity, wanting to alter and change people's belief systems basically due to the desire to challenge the truth. If a lot of what you've placed, what you've received as truth is secondhand, um, sometimes it could come up. I was about to say, it's like I'm combining words as I'm trying to speak, and it's not how I usually talk. So it's like, anywho, I would say this because it's like I want to say the word, but I don't know how to say it. It happened again, just like it was a second ago. But the emotional static sometimes it comes when you allow yourself to not live in the truth of truth versus second rate information. Technically, this is second rate information, which is why I'm always encouraging everybody to go back in, do your research, like come to your own conclusions. Take this information as a layer of perspective for you to enhance and operate in a rate to where you recognize how you are basically being in circumstances versus allowing things to constantly sit with you unresolved, living in certain rates of constant drama, not paying attention to the smoke screens that and the smoke signals that sometimes go off, which are subtle, you know, to get your attention. So you're not waiting to like a full blown fire, trying to basically escape things that you could have literally walked out of based off of your choosing. A lot of the times we want people to validate us in what it is that we are desiring for, but you don't really require that when you allow yourself to just be in the position of clear communication and honesty. You know, and when you show up in your authenticity in an integral rate, even if people don't want to basically meet you at that same rate, there's really, really no room not to respect it when you honor your boundaries and your standards. A lot of people believe when you start to love yourself that your standards become too high, but they don't recognize that these standards aren't really set by you. They're set by the engagement and the encounters of you experiencing mirrors to your energy. And a lot of the times we just aren't in alignment with certain people. And it's not to force people or to make people feel bad. We get to love people even if when given the opportunity they aren't able to replenish the spaces that they want to drain. However, we don't have to stay in these spaces and allow our fate to constantly be altered because we're not willing to release and purge things in order for us to recognize. I was about to say that the train is leaving the station. Yeah, the train's leaving the station and you either gonna get on or you not gonna get on. Don't miss your track. Don't miss your lane. Don't miss your progress trying to please other people or even trying to make other people feel good about the decisions that have been made over you. Live in your desired rate by actually petitioning for your energy to be used and maintained towards the things that you're desiring for. Stop allowing people to affect you in spaces by allowing yourself to stomach certain rates of fear that you know aren't true because you want to be in agreement with something that is coming against you. Dispute it, dispel it, declare and decree over yourself, and stay in a rate of steady stance because it's the truth. Peace, y'all. I love y'all.